Hello and good evening to Crypto News. Today, 16th of the 4th of 2026. And the top crypto news is as follows, and we will start today's episode from Pakistan, which is simply another castle that fell for the crypto market as 8 years after banning all banks from providing crypto services. Pakistan officially gave the green light for this practice, a move that aims to quickly facilitate the adoption of digital assets in the fifth most densely populated country in the world, according to the new rules of Pakistan's central bank. Banks are now allowed to provide banking services to registered cryptocurrency companies called virtual asset services providers. However, banks will not be allowed to conduct transactions, invest in or hold cryptocurrencies either with their own capital or with client funds. So, as I said, Pakistan is another castle that fell to the crypto market. Continuing now, we will go to Bitwise, which released its own ETF for Avalanche that also includes staking, and in the first 90 minutes had a trading volume of $300,000. Let me say that the inflow or outflow numbers of the ETF have not been released, but another ETF for our market. And since we are in our market, we will go to BitMine of Mr. Tom Melly, where the quarterly report for 2026 was released and announced losses of $3.8 billion from Ethereum investments. He has made all this. Mr. Tom Melly is confident about his investments, as the president of BitMine said in a speech on Wednesday at Paris Blockchain Week, stated that the recent cryptocurrency drop was a mini winter that may have already ended, and also said that Ethereum is possibly heading towards $60,000 if his position on the market is correct, and later described $62,000 for Ethereum as a fair value scenario in the coming years, without being specific about dates, based on the possibility of Ethereum reaching approximately 1/4 of Bitcoin's value in terms of its market capitalization. So these are the latest from BitMine, and now it's time to go to Bitcoin since I mentioned it. And first, let me tell you that Tether bought $70 million in Bitcoin, and its reserves have reached over 97,000 BTC. So Tether is also doing its own DCA, and for Bitcoin again, it's time to go to a proposal to address Bitcoin against quantum computers, which proposal says they will freeze your Bitcoin. Specifically, the proposal is BIP 361. Well, Mr. Jameson Lopp and 5 authors from the Bitcoin quantum security space propose freezing wallets vulnerable to quantum computers on the Bitcoin network, including the $74 million reserves of Satoshi Nakamoto himself, to prevent their theft once quantum computers become available. However, this proposal has 3 important steps. Well, this proposal suggests that 3 years after the proposal's activation, phase A of the proposal will prevent sending any transaction to old type addresses, thus pushing people to go to new type addresses that are more resistant to quantum computers. The second phase will invalidate old type signatures, and any Bitcoin that continues to be invulnerable addresses essentially freezes 5 years after the proposal's activation. However, there is phase C, which provides a possible rescue mechanism using zero-knowledge proof, allowing individuals who missed the deadline but still have the original phrases for their wallets to recover these funds. Let me say that it is a proposal. It doesn't mean it has passed. However, these are efforts to make Bitcoin resistant to quantum computers. Continuing for our coins, we will go to World Liberty Finance, a coin that constantly records new lows. The management of World Liberty Finance is doing what it can to keep the public disappointed, as investors who wish to have access to tokens worth $1.3 billion sold by World Liberty Finance have realized that utilizing the coins, which are supported by the Trump family, will likely require years of isolation, with a proposed vesting program expected to begin more than the president's second term. In a governance proposal published by World Liberty Finance, the project team outlines a 4-year path that will unlock 17 billion World Liberty Finance tokens for early supporters who are subject to a 2-year cliff already for a 2-year vesting period that will begin once the measure is put into effect. So good patience to these people. And this is one of the reasons in recent days that World Liberty Finance has fallen so much, with Mr. CRYPTONEWS condemning the irrational, as he says, governance vote, also saying it is one of the most irrational governance scams he has seen. And believe me, for someone like Mr. CRYPTONEWS to say this, his word carries a very great weight. And we came to go to this, our crypto market, with Bitcoin standing at $74,000. The price these days is struggling to break our resistance. It is difficult, as you understand. However, it has appetite for something like that. That wraps up the top news for crypto today, 16th of the 4th of 2026. I'd like to remind you that the content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.